Hi everyone, it's Anja here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks. And do you remember that a couple of videos ago I made my grandma's shawl? So I remade this shawl. This is the original shawl that my grandma made. Obviously I have no idea when she made it. It was a long time ago. I have no idea what patterns she used. So I worked out how she made this by looking at the scarf, by by counting, by working out how she must have done it. I also have no idea what yarn she used. So I tried to remake this and I used Magic Light in a variegated colour just to see what it would look like. And also because that was the yarn sort of that I had in mind and that I could find at that moment. But this one is much smaller than the original one. So I am going to remake it again. Now I find that I'm not reaching for this one. Normally when I make something I will wear it, and I do wear it, but I just haven't worn this one. I don't know why. Maybe it's not my colour in the end. Maybe it's not the colours that I like to wear. Or maybe it is because it is smaller that I didn't sort of think it had the same drape as this one. So there we go. I mean, sometimes that's what happens. But I now have the perfect yarn. Last week you saw I did an unboxing and Yarn and Colours have sent me this gorgeous yarn. That was the first thing that came out of the box and I was in love. So it is 60% wool, 40% acrylic. It's 100 grams and there's 120 meters on this ball, or this is in ounces and yards, so 3.52 ounces and 131 yards. It's for a 7mm hook and it's a weight 5 bulky. So I am going to make my shawl, my Anna shawl, in this, because this is a colour that I will wear, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be sort of wearing this all the time. This is my colour, and I think this thickness is going to be the perfect one for this shawl. Somehow I just cannot say which yarn it is. Obviously this is like, my grandma made this about 50 years ago, so there is no way I'm going to be able to find out which, what brand or whatever, what colour, so I'm thinking that this would be a very good substitute for it. So yes, I am going to do the same shawl but in this colour, and it's just going to be for me. I am going to wear it, I think, all the time. So yeah, Yarn and Colours, they have sponsored this video basically because they have sent me this yarn. So do go to their website and have a look, because this is one of their yarns in their new ranges as well. So they have new ranges. They also now have a line of accessories, so do go and have a look at those, because they do them in various colors even. Yeah, I mean, really interesting brand this. Okay, so it is yarn for a 7mm hook, and guess what? My higher hook, my 7mm higher hook is the same color. Isn't this too spooky? Now, I always like to use a contrasting color for hook because I think it's better for the tutorial, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah, okay, but maybe it was meant to be. Right, okay, so let's get started. I'm going to take this out. I am slightly adapting this pattern to the yarn because this is chunky and previously I did not use chunky. So we are going to get started by doing a chain of 212 chains. So let's get started with doing a slip knot, and then we will chain 212 chains. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, if you're interested, I have finalized the pattern now. I have put some pictures of my grandma with it as well, of me wearing the scarf, of my grandma wearing the scarf, and I am now selling my pattern on Ravelry. So do go and have a look at that to see if you would be interested in buying this pattern. Okay, so I have done my 212 chains, and I have been using the stitch markers that Yarn and Colours also sent me because, yeah, I was losing count, and they are really good stitch markers. Plus, I'd run out as well. You know, you lose them everywhere. Okay, so we have, this is the last stitch. So now we are going to do 2 chains. 1, 2. This is our turning chain, so to speak. So in the 3rd chain now, so we sort of turn our chain so that the bumps are facing us, and in the 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3. So in fact, that is that last chain here. We are going to put a half double crochet. Okay, so let's put it in there, into that back bump. Pick it up. So you might have to just do your turn your hook. So you yarn over, you turn your hook, and you pick up the back bump like so. So you might just need to just gently manipulate it so it is possible to pick up the back bump. So let me just show you really clearly. Here we have the V of the front. This is your front of the stitch, and then here you have the back bump, this little bump there, and that is what we are going to be picking up. And my grandma did this as well. There we go. And this will give us a nice edge to our shawl, because this is the top edge of our shawl and we're not doing anything else with that. So, you know, it's important that it looks nice. So half double crochet is yarn over into the stitch, pull up a loop and pull through 3. Just in case if you didn't know this, I am just going to put something on to watch, and I'm just going to work through this, but this is what I've got now, and I think it looks good. Not too holy, not too, yeah, good. Okay, so I just thought I would show you that my supervisor has arrived to check on my work. Ray? Do you like the shawl? I think he does. Ray? Oh, good boy. And I have made it to the end of the row. Look at this. I mean, that colour is just so lovely. Okay, so now we are going to start making boxes. So in this first row of boxes, we're doing 2 rows. The first row, we are going to start with a small box, then large boxes, and then we end in a small box. The second round, or the second row, we will do all big boxes. So, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then we turn our work, and then we are going to skip 1 stitch. So that means this here, this is the first stitch, that's where the chain is coming out of, so that's been used. We're going to skip this one here, and then in the second one we are going to do a double crochet into that stitch. Okay, then from here on and all along the line, now we are going to start doing whole boxes. So we are going to chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th one we are going to do a double crochet. No, and there. Okay, so there. Can you see the difference in the sizes? Right, so 1, 2, 3, then you yarn over, 1, 2, 3, skipped into the fourth one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm still getting used to the bigger hook. So there we go. Okay, so that is what we are going to be continuing all along our row, all the way to the end. So really check that you are skipping 3 stitches each time and sort of tip them towards you so you can clearly see the V's. I will see you at the end of the row. Oh yes, Ray is still there. And here I am again. I've made it to the end of my row. I have created 52 big boxes and one, of course, small box, and now we are going to create the last small box. So we are going to do 1 chain, and then here I've got that last stitch, which I have the stitch marker in, but then here, of course, we have our turning chain. Into the turning chain, picking up 2 legs of it, we are going to do, yarn over, we are going to do a double crochet to finish the row, and that gives us the second half box. Okay, so now for the next round, we are going to do 5 chains, 3, 4, 5. Then we are going to turn our work, and the first 2 chains count as our double crochet. The next 3 chains are for the box. So in this row, we are going to only be making boxes of 3 chains, and then we are going to place a double crochet into the next box. So to start with here, we are simply skipping that one box, that little one here, and then we go into the next box. And from here onwards, we do 3 chains, double crochet in the next box. 3 chains, double crochet in the next box. Okay, so it looks like this. So I will see you at the end of the row. And I made it to the end of my round. I am now going to place my last double crochet into that second chain of that turning chain from the last round, and this has now created 53 large boxes. So before we had 52 and 2 small ones, and now of course we have 53 large boxes. Okay, so now the fun part starts. Okay, we are going to now establish the stitch repeat. So we are going to do trebles from now on. Okay, so that means we are going to be yarning over twice. Now you know I do 2 chains for a double crochet, for a turning chain for a double crochet, and for a turning chain for a half double crochet. Now for a treble crochet, I tend to do 3 chains, but if you find that your 3 chains are not tall enough for your treble crochet, do 4. But I found when I did 4 in every row, it was too much. So gauge it. So just start with doing 3, maybe do 4 once in a while. If you notice that the edge of your scarf is sort of pulling a bit, do a couple of 4s. So yeah, you need to gauge this according to your own tension, to your, the way you crochet basically. Okay, if it starts getting a little bit tight on the side, do a couple of 4 chains. Okay, so this to start with, then turn your work. And we are going to, like I said, we are going to start doing trebles. So this first row, we have to establish our stitch. So in the first row, we are going to do yarn over twice. Into the first box, into the middle, you are going to do 1 treble crochet. Okay, So let me explain to you what a treble crochet is. In the second box, yarn over twice, we are going to do 2 treble crochets, a chain and another 2 treble crochets. So yarn over twice, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Again, yarn over twice, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 1, and once again we do our treble crochet. I really like doing treble crochets because look at how tall they are. This shawl is going to advance so quickly. It's going to be great. So this is the repeat that you are going to do. In the first box that you encounter, you do 1 treble on its own, like so. Then the next box that you encounter, you do 2 trebles. Yeah, it takes me a little bit longer to do a treble than a double. A chain, and in that same box, 2 more trebles. I love doing trebles. It's sort of the choo-choo and then doing your stitch, okay? So that is what we are doing, right? So keep continuing like so, and I will meet you at the end of the row just to finish off our row because we are doing something special there as well. So come back to me when you have just the 1 box left at the end. I will see you in a moment. Okay, so I have made it to my last box and I finished in a shell, you know, the 2 trebles, the chain and the 2 trebles, and I've checked to make sure that I did the right things everywhere. So now we are going to do, and this is how you're going to end each time, we are going to do a treble in the last box and a treble in the corner of that last box. So really that is sort of in that second chain. So try to pick up 2 bits of that turning chain there. That's 1 bit. Come on. Yeah. Of course it does not want to go. So help it along whichever way you can pick up 2 bits and do a treble there. Okay, so basically you've already sort of made a sideways you know, finish here. Now we are going to chain 3 or 4, you know, depending on how you are managing your sides. Okay, and now I'm going to explain the way the stitch works. Okay, so we've done our basic row, we've established our stitches here, and now we are going to do, in the first chain space that you meet, you are going to do a treble. So into the chain space you do the treble. Okay, so this is, each time you will start with this, do your chains and then you do a treble in the chain space. Then you go along your line and you find the treble on its own. You will then put behind that treble and in front of the shell, that is the location where you are going to be putting your shell. So you do your treble on its own, then you walk along and past the treble on its own from the previous round. This is the location where you're going to do your shell. Past there. Your shell is of course the 2 trebles, the chain and the 2 trebles. Next, you look for the chain space where you do the treble on its own. Then you walk along until you find that treble from the last row, and here, this is the location for your shell. And that is it. So you just keep repeating one treble on its own, and then your shell of your 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles, and the locations are easy to find. You do your treble on its own into the chain space of the shell below, and then you walk along and you find the one here and you do your shell in there. So here I am continuing the shawl on the plane to New York. I was so pleased I had this project with me. It was the perfect project to finish on the plane. It was so easy to keep doing the repeats, and also I was watching Murder on the Orient Express with Kenneth Branagh, which was one of the films that I had missed and that I was able to catch up on the plane now. So yeah, it was great to be able to do that. The thing is, with this shawl, it gets easier and easier because every row gets shorter and shorter. So it's a repeat of the same things as I explained to you in the tutorial previously here. And yeah, it was just really nice to be able to take this on the plane. You only needed the 6 balls. So I had started, I think, my 2nd ball by now. And yeah, I was just going for it. And it was quite good. It was not too much thinking either. Like I said, just repeating the shells, repeating the trebles on their own in the locations as I explained to you. And of course, starting every row with the single treble on its own in the chain space and finishing it with a single treble on its own in that last location, and then also in the chain turning chain of the previous round. So that's how I kept going, and like I said, my the rows get shorter and shorter. So here I am again, and I have just done the 1 bar last row. So as you can see, there was 1 shell there, and now I am just doing 3 trebles basically. So I've done the starting chain, I'm doing the 1 treble in the chain space, and then it's time already for the last treble in that turning chain, and there you go, that is the tip of the scarf. And so I have finished the whole thing on board. Well, this is the body of the scarf, right? So actually we still had about 2 hours to go, so yeah, let's have a little try on session. My husband was watching something else, I don't know what, but yeah, let's see if we can film me trying it on just to see how big it is. I think I'd given up on or I don't know what I was watching. There we are. So yeah, let's try this on, see what it looks like. yeah, I think the size is great. Sorry about the lighting issue, but obviously this is on a plane. He was trying to light me up with his iPhone light there. Anyway, so I then actually did finish the side and the tassels on board the plane. This is in the Airbnb that I am just having a little twirl for you. Obviously I did not sew in any ends and I did not cut the tassels. They're still as loops, but that's okay. I will do that at home. I just wore it for the 5 days that we were in New York. That's how I kept on wearing it. It kept me really warm. So I took it on the plane as balls of yarn, and I came out of the plane with a wearable item, which is great because it was cold in New York and I could wear it. So it was really, really nice to have that while I was there. Yes, I had, of course, my New York cowl, but yeah, making this scarf on the plane was just the best thing ever because it took how should I say this? It took the whole plane ride and then the bits that I filmed before I came out in the tutorial. So I think all in all it would have taken about 8-9 hours, and yeah, I completed 8 hours of it on the plane, which was great, and I just kept going, and it kept me sane on the plane, I have to admit. So yeah, here I am in the subway just now. Here we are walking, and I just really enjoyed wearing it. It was really lovely to keep me warm. It did keep me very, very warm. This is near Rockefeller Center and Radio City there. And the color is just amazing. I really, really like the color. I wear a lot of blue, and I think it is going to go with a lot of my clothing as well. So yeah, so the kids are here as well, as you've seen just in the background there. And yeah, I am really enjoying wearing the scarf. It's been great to have it here in New York. So let's have a little twirling session. Oh yeah. There we go. As you can see, still some ends to be sewn in, but I don't care about that. I've made this shawl on the plane. I had it with me in New York. I was able to wear it, and yeah, I like wearing it back to front like that with a lot of bulk on the front. Well, my grandma did like to wear it the other way around, but I think when the weather gets better and I don't have a coat on, I will wear it the other way as well, because that's how my grandma used to wear it, and I'm going to try and wear it like that as well. So here we are at the top of the rock, on top of the Rockefeller Center, with some fabulous views of New York. And yes, of course, I was wearing my scarf and I just wanted to show it off with the fabulous buildings in the background. So I hope you enjoy my little outings with my scarf in New York here. So here we are. We have got some fabulous views of New York to finish this unusual tutorial. I do apologize for ending it the way I did with crocheting on the plane and everything, but I was just so overexcited that I had taken this project to New York and I had been wearing it there. I love my Anna shawl, and there is another video of it with a proper tutorial, of course. This one has been adapted to the chunky yarn, so yes, it has different numbers. So if you are using DK, go to the previous tutorial. If you are using chunky, I hope you can work out how to make this shawl. So after finishing the sides and the tassels, I had about just under a ball left, so this is all I had left from my 6 balls. So for the sides and the tassels, please go to the previous video, because obviously I have not shown you this in this video, but yeah, it's the same, making the boxes, doing the point at the tip here and then adding the tassels. So I finished it at home, I cut all the tassels and I woven in the end. So I hope you can work out how to make this shawl. I do just love it so much, and yeah, go and have a look for the pattern on Ravelry. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider sharing it with others. Thank you so very much for watching, and I also hope to see you on our Facebook group. Join me there.